Thank you, sir, for inviting me to moderate this panel discussion. Good afternoon, everyone. I warmly welcome you all to panel discussion 2 on the theme AI governance, regulation versus co-creation models. Artificial intelligence is transforming every sector, from healthcare and education to defense, governance, and enterprise systems. But with this rapid adoption comes a critical question. Should AI be tightly regulated, or should innovation be driven through collaborative co-creation models? To explore these crucial questions, we have with us a distinguished panel of academic leaders, industry experts, and technology innovators who bring deep expertise in AI systems, cybersecurity, governance, defense technologies, and enterprise software. Let me now introduce our esteemed panelists. Our first panelist is Dr. Emmanuel Shubhakar, Associate Professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering at MNIT Jaipur, with 27 plus years of experience in teaching, research, and academic leadership. He holds a PhD from IIT Roorkee in network forensic analysis and has guided 12 PhD scholars and 49 MTech dissertations. His research areas include cybersecurity, digital forensics, cloud security, big data, IoT, blockchain, and quantum computing. He has authored 2 internationally published books, published over 118 research papers, and currently holds important leadership roles including Dean Academic Affairs and Dean Faculty Welfare in IIT Kota. A leading authority in cybersecurity, governance, and digital forensics, please welcome Dr. Pillai Emmanuel Shubhakar to the stage. May I now request Dr. Rishabh to please present sampling as a token of gratitude to our eminent panelists. Thank you, sir. Our next panelist is Dr. Sanjeev Yadav, joining us online, Associate Professor at Central University of Jammu, with 15 plus years of academic and research experience. He is a senior member of IEEE, life member of IETE, and has authored 130 plus research papers along with 2 international research books. He has served in multiple leadership roles, including head of department, ECE, and key positions with IEEE Rajasthan subsection and Delhi section. With deep expertise in advanced electronics, research governance, and academic leadership, we welcome Dr. Sanjeev Yadav. Our next panelist is Mr. Puneet Singhal, Vice President of Engineering at Rhythm Software, with over 2 decades of experience in building and scaling enterprise-grade software systems. His expertise span AI strategy, cloud-native platforms, DevSecOps, data platforms, and digital transformation, especially across highly regulated industries like pharma and clinical trials. He leads multiple centers of excellence, driving innovation in AI, cybersecurity, and modern software architecture, bridging technology innovation with compliance and governance. Please welcome Mr. Puneet Singhal. Our final panelist is Mr. Sunil Agarwal, founder of Fleet RF Private Limited, winners of Indian Air Force Swarm Drone Challenge, and recently awarded strategic defense contracts by Indian Army. With a master's in aeronautics from the USA and professional experience in Collins Aerospace, Airbus, and Mitsubishi, he brings unmatched expertise in aerospace systems, electronic warfare, autonomous drones, and defense AI. He works directly intersects AI governance, national security, and responsible innovation. Please welcome Mr. Sunil Agarwal. I request you, sir, to please take the stage. May I request Professor Arya to please present a sampling to Mr. Sunil Agarwal as a token of our gratitude. We are going to begin this discussion shortly. May I request our esteemed panelists from the discussion one to please also join the esteemed panelists of the discussion two. It will really help us to understand the AI better and get insights into the topic that we are going to discuss today. Dear panelists, I'm privileged to speak to you today on the topic AI governance and co-creation models. To set the context and to make people aware of what we're talking to talk about, I would like to serve my first question to Dr. Shubhankar. Sir, how can AI governance frameworks balance innovation with public safety and ethics? If you may throw some light on this question.
Yeah, we hear the word guardrails. That's what basically where you are protected by the guardrails to not go off the channel. I was coming by the expressway, and you know that while you are traveling on the expressway on both sides, you are guarded, so you don't fall off the road, right? So of course there are some accidents which may happen where you are overspeeding, but while you're traveling, the guardrails will protect you. So these frameworks that we are talking about are like guardrails, which will help us to be on the track. So there are so many ways in which biases can be introduced into the AI mechanisms, because they are learning on their own. So they may have a bias. The person who has developed may have left some bias. So the way that everybody looks at data is different, because among ourselves also, if you look at everybody looks at things differently and understand and perceive things differently. Similarly, data when it is analyzed may also be perceived in different ways. So there are different biases which may be coming in, and then we need to have somebody who will monitor whether what is happening is correct or not. So these frameworks will definitely take us to that point where they will tell us what is going wrong, or whether there can be some metrics by which we measure whether everything is going on correctly or not. So maybe in the morning session you would have discussed about various models which can be applied on AI, and of course we are leading to generative AI and agentic AI which are coming. So when these models do come in, there are so many things which can happen, and so much of data can be generated without actually collecting the data. So that's a challenge. So but then who will monitor, or who will check, or who will understand, or who will say this is safe, right? So that's where these frameworks, which are not only on the India level, we are, November, we have started a lot of processes 2025, but across the globe, there are so many frameworks which have already been proposed. And of course, we are discussing this is a very important aspect in this summit, that most of you are getting to know that there is something called AI governance, and AI is becoming responsible in the sense that the things that are a simple example will be something like a robot which is guided by AI. If it loses control, what will happen? So that's a good example of where a framework is there which will control the robot when it goes out of control, because a robot learns. So once it learns, it can take some decisions on its own. So when it goes wrong, a lot of damage can happen. You would have seen that movie where a female actor is there who's acting as a robot. When things go wrong, it goes beyond control and a lot of damage can happen because it's very powerful, right? So that's where the power of AI to be put in the right use is where the frameworks do come in. That's where.
So, sir, have you have had instances like this where we felt that there is a need of control and there is a possible chance of AI going out of our.
Yeah, if we look at generative adversarial networks is one area where I have been working with some of the students because security is my core interest. So I was looking at how uh, the adversarial networks or adversarial attacks can happen on the data. So, and data poisoning can happen. So a simple looking data set with few tweaks, okay? And we have looked at images, which actually humanly, when you look at it, it looks like a dog. But the classifier which is trained to identify between cats and dogs is misclassified. That's a simple example. So once these things can happen, maybe you have a intrusion detection system where you are or an antivirus which has to detect something as malicious, will not detect it as malicious. Then there is a big problem. Where you are identifying a human being as somebody is identifying as somebody else, the whole system will fail. So these are possibilities which are there because of these adversarial attacks which can happen. And there are not only one attack, but a series of attacks where a couple of students have worked on that and then they have developed, they have run those tools and seen that. So now what we have to do is we have to protect the data that we have been given to analyze, or we have to ensure that it is not corrupted or poisoned. So those are some examples where these challenges will come in, where data can be, manipulated because data is there, and we have to keep the data private and secure, which is a big challenge. And if it is compromised, then we have these challenges.
So AI is being applied to institutions like pharmaceuticals and finance, where a lot of sensitive data and is there. So should the AI systems be regulated if we are applying AI to these institutions?
Yeah, they started with those institutions because there is a risk. Healthcare has a life risk. Financial also has a lot of financial implications, but also it may be a life risk because somebody will commit suicide if some untoward great loss happens. In a similar sense, when AI, when it predicts something, or when there is a where you're trying to do a morphed video, right? That also results in a lot of reputation, a lot of loss of reputation and loss of somebody may actually react also. So hence there is definitely a need and an urgency also to ensure that the data is not tampered with, or people cannot get away with things without being accountable. So this framework is actually putting us to ensure that whatever the results of AI before they are used are checked whether they are in line or not, right? So that's where it prevents us, or it protects people from misusing things. Just like a financial loss can happen, and it will cause a loss to so many people's life. If there is a health hazard and it is not contained properly, so there is a lot of and health data, financial data, these are all very important. In a similar sense, any data for that matter, in the case of AI, will also be very essential. So that's where I think in similar lines, it's a kind of we have to be on a mission mode to ensure that data is also, or AI analysis is analyzed and preserved, and ensure that the privacy and security of an individual or of an organization is not tampered.
Thank you, sir. It is indeed important that we have to have accountability in place. And now that we have mentioned accountability, so another question stems out of from this answer, which I would like to serve it through Mr. Sunil Agarwal, sir. Sir, if an AI system causes harm, who should be held accountable? The developer, the deploying organization, or the regulator? Where does the accountability lie if AI causes harm?
I think the best way to think about this question is to think about what happens. Like you might have heard about aircraft crashing, and whose fault would it be when the aircraft crashes? Is it the fault of the pilot? Is it the fault of the company that made the aircraft? Or is it the fault of the airport operations or air traffic controller, or maybe the rules that are already in place for aircraft to operate? Right? So it's a very similar kind of question. So the thing is like typically these kinds of things are handled in a when you talk about industries where something can go wrong, it can have an impact. Like for example, medical industries. Medical industry, let's say your blood pressure that's being displayed, what if it was wrong, right? So there can be a software error that can make that display wrong. You could be given medication that you don't need and potentially even die. So there is a lot of regulation already in place in medical industries, in automotive industries, also in aircraft industry. So the thing is like, how does this work out? Is that in the regulations already there is a talk about process assurance. Process assurance means that you have actually come up with a very mindful way of making sure that you intentionally or unintentionally do not introduce errors into the data or into the software that results in a bad output. So in the case of AI as well, a similar approach can be utilized, and an AI process assurance methodology will be created. And in fact, right now there are many working groups. So typically, like for example, in the automotive case, there's something called Society of Automotive Engineers. In the case of aviation, there is a ICAO. Even DGCA is involved with ICAO. So every industry has its own body, and every body is currently doing what is called working groups, where they are talking to different individual, different companies, and getting the feedback and coming up with this exact process assurance framework, right? Now, what this process assurance framework does is आपने एक process follow किया, मेरे को बताया गया कि मैंने ये काम करना है, मैंने इस तरीके से किया है और मैंने सही किया है, मैंने process को follow किया। अगर मैंने process को follow किया है और उसके बाद भी कुछ incident होता है, तो मेरी गलती है। It's not my fault. So pilot ने बोला कि I have been given operating manual, I have followed the operating manual. If the aircraft crashes, it's not my fault. Aircraft engineers will say, I wrote the code, I made the design, but I tested it also, I showed the results, it's not my fault. So that's exactly what happens in the industry right now. And when these kinds of things come up a lot when we talk about lawsuits, when things have gone wrong, there's a lawsuit and there's an insurance company involved, and the insurance company is the one that wants to point fingers because they don't want to be the one to pay for the damages. Okay, so typically the best approach is have a process in place. When you follow the process, you kind of automatically not become a liability anymore. You cannot become out of that picture. So the very basic, very first step that we will have to do in the case of regulation would have to be thinking about the exact risk-oriented or risk that is part of that impact that AI can have. So, for example, if AI, like for example, Dr. Shubhankar was talking about automotive AI, where it can crash and it can cause damage. So this is a general term is physical AI. Anything that interacts with the physical environment. So it could be robots that are cleaning your clothes, and to robots who are operating in the factories, and also cars and even airplanes eventually. So in all the situations where you've got some kind of impact that AI can have, if you use AI in these platforms, they can do something wrong. So you have to do what is called a fault tree analysis or failure mode analysis, and come up with this is what it can do and this is the impact. And based on the impact, you need to have independent reviews. Level of involvement will depend exactly on the level of impact the AI can have on a specific application.
Right. So, from your examples, what I can understand is that we have not used AI to its full potential. We don't even know today what the full potential is. So, till the time the policies are in place, are we going to pass the buck from one place to another, or what is the solution?
Well, first of all, we don't have a choice, right? I mean, the thing is like the growth that AI has seen, the trajectory has been like nothing like ever seen before. No technology in the world has been adopted so fast, right? ChatGPT became famous, number of users were highest in the shortest amount ever. So the thing is like digital, and this is all happening because internet, everybody getting a cell phone, everybody being digitized is making digital AI more accessible. But when it comes to physical AI, it will not be this easy. Because the thing is, just think about it this way. Maybe like there's a village in India. वहाँ पे अगर कोई स्कूटर चला रहा है या फिर कोई गाड़ी चला रहा है, what are the chances in the next 5 years that he will have an autonomous car? Very, very low, right? It might be like in the US that they will have an autonomous car, but mainstream adoption will take 20, 25 years, right? So technology, it's not like ChatGPT. Both are AI. Both are forms of AI. Yeah, hardware is going to be much more long term, and digital will be short term. But the thing is, digital also has more impact in terms of like fraud, and you've got a lot of like like for example, doctors are using, people are using for diagnosis. You can have misdiagnosis, wrong diagnosis. So incorrect information might come out. And the thing is like this is something that is the nature of what we're dealing with. But the most important thing is it's improving at a very rapid rate every single day. And the more you interact, the more it's getting better. So the thing is, the only way we can kind of mitigate this is by like exactly what we're doing right now, is awareness, right? So you cannot blindly trust it. In fact, if you look at ChatGPT very recently, they've added a screen when you log in. The very first thing that comes up is an advisory that I might give wrong information, right? So that is also a level of awareness which is coming from a regulatory framework.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. So, from what you have mentioned, from what Dr. Subhakar mentioned, we are largely placing the responsibility with the organizations and the government. I would like to know from Neeraj sir, is it the right time that we should start teaching our students and start bringing the element of accountability in the curriculum of the students? They want to have an AI-driven career, but should we start talking about accountability with them?
Sure, definitely, sir. When we are starting a new development in any technology, then definitely student must be involved in, and after that they are producing most of good projects. And if they are using their projects ethically, like that they are using correct data set, unbiased algorithms, all these things, if they are implemented in their projects, then definitely your AI project will be very good. So if something going wrong, then definitely we are starting from ourselves as a developer, and we are doing something lagging. Otherwise, your system will allow you to do only ethical works. If it will do some misbehaving or misleads, then definitely it is a scope where we have a thing that will not be incorporated, like guardrails. You require a proper guardrails. Otherwise, your system will be going into the wrong direction. So first challenges and responsibility having the developing. After that, the regulatory bodies in which they are implemented or deployed, they have used and they must show that they are ethically used of that particular system, so that we will move in the same direction and we will provide a better environment for the users and society as well.
Right, sir. I would also like to bring in this point, and I would request Dr. Subhakar to answer this. We unfortunately and fortunately are a growing country. We need AI by our side to match pace with other countries. So, would we have or do we have AI governance models that can help us without hindering the growth and innovation that we need? Yeah, recently, that is November 2025, only the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology have come up with that AI governance guidelines, so AIGG, right? So, but then whenever there is a guideline, the speed is anyway curtailed. Like when you're traveling on a highway, if you say there's an 80-kilometer speed limit, then obviously, though the car can go at 100 kilometers per hour, you have to go at 80 kilometers per hour because there is a guideline. If you cross the guideline, then you will be penalized, right? You may have to pay a fine if somebody observes that you are traveling below. So, but then it is on the safe side. You will never lose your life if you are going at 80 kilometers per hour. So, though there will be a slowdown, but it is in our interest that these governance frameworks are coming, and it will help us to control ourselves. But of course, it is a good thing that has happened that we have started even now. Though it is a delayed decision. It took some time for us, but the challenge still remains whether we are looking at models which have been developed elsewhere. We have learned those models and are using those models, and now we are trying to apply governance guidelines which are made by us. So there is a great need to develop Indian models of AI itself, because whatever we are learning, this is for the students specifically to listen, whatever we are learning has been designed by somebody else for a different context. So there is a big challenge for all students sitting here that we need to build models which we will be using for our country. At the same time, our country will come up with some guardrails or some guidelines which will say or which will protect our own country's interest. So we have to be, though the speed will slow down, but at the same time, it is for our interest. In that sense, that's where we do look at. But then the challenge here is more important to note that we need to have indigenous AI models. That's where I would like to highlight. And many times we teach, of course, I am also teaching books which are written by experts elsewhere. There are so many Indian authors who have written in AI, but they are writing about models which have been developed elsewhere. So hence the challenge that comes back to academia and to students, teachers and students, is that we need to build Indian models of AI and then also build Indian guidelines to control that models. That's where the biggest challenge is, and I think you should take it up. Thank you.
So that was one of my questions, that can there be a global AI governance systems, or will it always be region specific?
There are like NIST, USA and all, they have already come up. European guidelines are there. Various, wherever there few people are able to work together, they are able to come up with their own guidelines, which will be specific to their country's laws. Like privacy laws are different in every country. The data protection, the digital protection of the data, DPDP, the law that has been done for us is different. For other countries, you have GPDR, which is a different, some differences are there, because they look at some things which are specific to their country or specific to their region or specific to their group of countries which are working together to build a, or the consortium of countries, they develop their own models. So, and hence, more important for us, as I see, India is leading in something worldwide. Some of you can guess it. Where are we? Number one? Population. So for this population, we need a specific set of guidelines. So obviously, it will be region specific, and obviously the numbers. US may have a guidelines of its own, but how many people are there? 1/3, 1/4 of our population. So what they are thinking is on a different scale. What we are thinking is on a different scale. How much data we have is a totally different benchmarks. Different things are needed. When you scale up, you have to think differently, right? And that's where our challenges are, and we need to really think it. So that's where a personalized laws, personalized acts are coming, which are in our interest for our country. That's what I was saying.
Thank you, sir. My next question would be to Mr. Sunil Agarwal. So there have been a lot of training and development programs of late to train people on generative AI and autonomous systems. So when this is being promoted, we also hear a lot of incidences where a lot of complaints are lost where insensitive information or is generated through AI. So while we are promoting this, what challenges lie with this training and development, and how can we control it?
Yeah, I think this is more of a challenge of corporate culture, because what happens is like companies which are involved in OpenAI, like in AI, they have to grow. At the same time, they have to be safe. So it's this exact same challenge that they are facing as well. It's not like they're not trying to be safe, and they're not trying to be, meet the cultural disparity between different people in the world, and at the same time not leak information that might be private. But it's just the nature of what they're dealing with. They just have to grow, and it's the competitive environment that is making it happen at a rapid pace. That being said, what is really important again is that the regulatory framework has to be put in place so that these companies can be independently reviewed, so that they are doing their best for making sure that they have some kind of process, some kind of framework, maybe internally in place or through guidance of the regulation in place that is trying to mitigate these things from happening. I do know that these things already exist in social media. Like for example, like if you have a post that is disturbing in Facebook, it will get pulled off, right? So the same kind of thing with AI has been a lot difficult because the prompts can be tricked and they can be made to do do wrong things. And unfortunately, what we really need to do now is we need to defend ourselves in the same way we are training AI. So just like how AI is evolving every day, we have to come up with our defenses in a very rapid way. Like what Dr. Shubhankar was talking about mission mode, we really need to be in mission mode. We cannot be like just talking about AI governance, but it has to be put in place. We have to take it in a very drastic measures to make sure that these companies are regulated.
So this brings us to another point, and I would like to submit to you as a question also. Most of the AI algorithms are proprietary in nature. The companies wouldn't want to expose the proprietary properties of the AI systems. How can we then have transparency and explainability of the AI systems?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a good question. So the thing is like the best way to handle this, and this is coming from my personal experience, because like let's say that you are installing like a computer on an airplane to control the path of the drone or the aircraft. How do you know that it's someone else's code, someone else's system? You're putting it on your system. But if something goes wrong, whose brand is going to get destroyed? It's my brand. My company's image will get destroyed. So it's really important for me to now make sure that I can, review that he's done a good job. But he's not going to show me the source code. So how do I know there's no bugs in the source code? So the way I can do that is like I tell them that the burden of showing me that you've done enough is on you. That is what is the key here. The burden of making sure that your company's AI output is actually good is on the company itself. If that requires that, if I send you an expert and you are able to convince the expert that I've done a lot of output testing, I've taken the AI as a black box, I've put hundreds of millions of inputs, I've created millions and millions of outputs, everything came out safe. Maybe there's not much he will do. He said, okay, I don't need to look at the code, I don't need to look into details. But let's say if that's not the case, then maybe there is a code review that needs to happen. Maybe a sampling review has to happen. So the thing is like, it's as once you put the burden on the company and you say you can only execute if you actually show compliance, you can prove that you're safe, then only this can happen. And that may or may not require showing proprietary information.
We will have to put a system in place through which they have their systems passed, and then it could be.
And these systems are already in place for many industries. Like I said, in aviation, in automotive, in medical, these things are already there. But we just have to make it like such a way that AI companies now can also enforce with something similar.
Right. Dr. Shubhankar, you mentioned that one of the problems with India is its population. We may call it problem, we may not call it a problem, but we are trying to scale it also. At the same time, we are trying to scale the AI systems. So when we scale an AI system, there are chances of algorithmic bias and discrimination. And recently, certain incidents have been reported. How can we tackle this challenge in the Indian context?
Yeah, actually, the whole idea about AI usage, right? It goes back to all the students sitting here. You would like to ask a question if all of you can submit online assignments, right? Which are not handwritten, right? So the obvious way that you will submit the assignments will be, pick it up from ChatGPT or Perplexity and submit. So I've seen IIIT Delhi coming with a policy, some of you must have read, where they said, okay, you can submit the assignment, which will be different from your friends, but you have to also submit the kind of prompts that you have used And the certification to say that how much of questions you have answered using AI, honesty declaration is what they are saying. So they have also introduced a kind of ethics. They also said you should tell us what are the prompts. They are testing your intelligence or your sincerity by the way that you ask the prompts to get to the right answer. So they are not wanting you to measure the problems or solve the problems faster. You can solve by any means, but then how you are solving is what they are assessing. So in a sense, I stick to the answer where I say that it is more of being honest. So while we scale up and use AI in a large scale for this large population, which I see as a strength, I am not seeing as a weakness. But many of the world is trying to create an image to us to saying that you are very important to us. But actually, why are we becoming important to them? Is not because we are a big nation. They are seeing us as a big market actually. They want to sell their things. Well, the big market sitting here, they are not making their own stuff. So let us sell them. So hence they think India is great, India is great. But the challenge that comes back to us is we need to scale AI to that level so that we don't have to depend on anybody else for anything. You talk about a processor, talk about a laptop, you talk about a mobile phone, you talk about an operating system, you talk about a browser. Do you have anything which is made in India? No, as of now. So that's the challenge which comes back to us. And we are fast learners. We are hard workers. We work very hard. We are industrious. So we should use these strengths. And the scale is there with us. We have so many people, so many universities, so many students, and we need to use this power. But here we can be irresponsible. So that's where the governance comes in. Scaling is very easy because of our numbers. Scaling is needed because we don't have indigenous equipment or software, but then we have to be responsible. Most problem or a big problem with us is we are into that mode which is called the jugaad mode. कैसे भी करके चला देंगे, मतलब we do something to make it work, but actually jugaad is not always a solution, and in jugaad will lead to problems which sir just pointed out, that there will be cases of bias, there will be cases of wrong data being projected, and people being falsely accused. Okay, and so many errors getting introduced like that. So we need to be careful, to be honest with what we are working. Because if you know how you can, because AI is a very powerful servant, but it's even more powerful master. So when AI starts controlling us, then we are at loss. We need to control AI and we need to be honest about it. If you misuse AI, you can earn a lot of money and you can do a lot of things. But then if we are not responsible about, that's why they say responsible AI and ethical AI, because AI is powerful both ways. You can use it negatively, you can use it positively. It's like an atom bomb, right? It's so much of power, but you can use it in negative ways and positive ways. So that's where the honesty of how we are using it, we should use it in the interest of the nation. So that's where the challenge comes back to us. Scaling is a strength for us. The numbers, the population is a strength for us. All of us must be AI aware. That's what I would say, right? But then we also have to be responsible with AI. I think the power will come and then the misuse will not be there. But otherwise it will be very easy to impact others to be at benefit for ourselves.
True, sir. You mentioned that we have to use AI responsibly. We have to be honest about how we are using AI. And I think the scale that we're talking about, one of the first users are our students. I would like to serve this question to Dr. Verma. So, to have an honest system, to understand, make the students understand that they have to use the AI honestly, what can academia do to ensure this?
Yes. In academia, we will provide a certain sort of trainings for the students. They can aware how the systems are built, what are the challenges we have faced if we create a wrong system. If we are not doing the things ethically, definitely it make a disaster outcomes, and that are not good for the society and human beings as well. So whenever the students come with the projects, then they must know what are their variegatings, what are their fencings, what are their limitations, in which they will produce their work, and uh, always be with the safer side. When the system will provide you good thing, and it will not go to the bad side. So as the sir mentioned, the AI is always be a good servant, not a good master. If man is a good master, then we are the responsible. We are not producing correct data. We are not correcting our biasness of the algorithms. That's why it will be a challenge for us.
Absolutely, sir. Now,
I continue with this one. When we talk about how the student should we have to motivate about the whether we have to see that currently many of the students they have developed the project with concern of the chat GPT. Suppose whether they have to write a research paper, they can use certain AI tools. So I just convey to the students you have to prepare one repository on the GitHubs, and then if suppose there is a lead code, one of the tool where many of the industry require the lead code. So that is a type of questions they have to ask for the level 1, level 2, and level 3. And we have to again provide some of the ethics. If suppose there is ethics is not there, then we have not performed the outcome. That is my concern. Thank you.
thank you, sir, for throwing light on the right use of AI. So, talking about governance, it brings me to a very critical area, which is defense and national security. I would like to serve it to the panel. How critical is AI governance in defense systems, autonomous drones, and national security operations? Although we are using autonomous drones for making a show around the festivities, but it also is used for defense. So, how critical AI governance there is?
I think the biggest challenge with defense and AI is cybersecurity, because we have a lot of data that is encrypted. We have communications that are encrypted. Communications between different personnel within the armed forces, also with different platforms that they're utilizing, whether it's a tank, whether it's an aircraft, whether it's a drone. So these communications can be easily opened up and decrypted by AI, and they can also be very easily spoofed by AI. There's a movie that I would recommend. I'm sure all of you guys have seen Iron Man, right? Everybody's seen Iron Man. You've seen how in Iron Man a single guy comes up with the suit, right? How does he do that? He's using AI. Eventually, AI will be that good that you can actually use AI to create whatever you want. Eventually, right? We're not there yet. But at the same time, you've got the situation where AI can be used to also fool the enemy or fool the adversary. So you've got situations where, right now, a lot of the armed forces are being attacked, like personnel are being attacked by personal messages, which is through AI, to get the secrets about the country from them. So cybersecurity, both in the forms of encryption and decryption, and also from the point of view of protecting our minds to not be, controlled by AI, as in through whether it's a digital media or whatever. Because it has happened in the past where an adversary has used AI to act like a person of faith, and then this person has disclosed sensitive information to the adversary, and we do not want that to happen. So that's a big challenge. When it comes to like drones or aircraft, we are still, at least on bigger platforms, we are still quite far from full autonomy. even with drones, there is no drone out there right now that can fully autonomously take decisions on its own. Physical AI, the challenge with that is more the hardware, not the AI itself, because the hardware that's required to run that AI cannot run on its own. So that's the challenge. So the thing is, it's all progressing. I think physical is less of a problem, but cybersecurity is more of a problem right now for us.
So, sir, very good example that you took from the movie Iron Man, and taking the same context. An AI system goes rogue, and another AI system was built to guard it. And what if that goes rogue too? So, is this an endless chain, or are we going to stop at systems that make
No,
it go rogue?
there is a concept of deterministic AI as well. So there, like not every AI is just generative AI that is going to just create without thinking about what it's creating. Actually, there is also, like for example, there is right now AI already used on aircraft, right, in which you might fly on. That is called deterministic AI. So how that is shown is again with excessive amount of process, excessive amount of independent audit to make sure that the outputs are within the bounds. So it's a very long process. Like aircraft को बनाने में 15-20 साल लग जाते हैं. And that's why the aircrafts that are made in the 80s and 90s are still flying. The designs are still hasn't evolved. So the thing is like, you know, there is a lot of like, that deterministic AI can be utilized to monitor the output of other AI as well. So it's not an endless chain, and but that's how it's going to be likely done.
Right. So we are sure that you have to have systems in place where AI has a controlled use in wherever we place it.
Yeah, it's actually a very open topic of research, right? There is lots of companies specifically working on that as well, and there are many strategies, but there's also counter strategies. So it's a cat and mouse game, actually, and it's just gonna keep on evolving, and this game is actually never gonna end. Just like like code breaking, and we talked about any kind of like security. There is always a way to breach a security, but it might be very hard, right? बैंक को आज से 40 साल पहले लूटना होता तो बहुत आसान था. अभी लूटना तो बहुत डिफिकल्ट है, लेकिन इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि पॉसिबल नहीं. It might take 6-7 years. Maybe आपको to become a bank employee and all that stuff, and it might take 6-7 years. But the thing is, things have become much harder. प्रॉब्लम क्या है कि लाइक हमारा जो काम हमने कर दिया है आज तक, ह्यूमैनिटी ने जितना काम कर दिया है उसकी वैल्यू बहुत कम हो गई है, एआई से कम हो गई है, एंड human creativity and human value itself is actually reducing. So right now, to the students, what I would recommend is like you have to really think about how you can use AI to create something, not focus on too much about AI is competing with me, but rather use it as a tool right now to create something for now, and then a lot of the future is right now you can't really control.
So you mentioned cat, so mentioned cat and mouse. So I would like to know who's going to be who in the time to come, us humans or the AI?
Yeah, I was just wanting to add to that the similar question. So the strength is when we look at artificial intelligence, the opposite word will be human intelligence, right? So artificial or natural intelligence, and all of us are blessed with natural intelligence, and the artificial intelligence is created because of our natural intelligence. Many times we think AI has come on its own. No, AI has been created by human beings who are naturally intelligent. But AI can be more powerful than humans because the way it is able to learn. And who has created that capability is again human beings. But now human beings should be able to control how they work. So it is the human beings who have to put a question on their own capabilities of what they are creating. So that's where the responsibility comes in. So it's again left to us as human beings. So please don't feel that AI, as Sir was just rightly, Mr. Sunil was rightly mentioning, that AI is not powerful. The human beings who have created the AI is powerful. But the way, if we are not controlling the human beings, if they are not controlling the AI, then AI will control the human beings. So that's the challenge that comes. So in fact, also adding to that point of whether it is defense or any other device which uses AI, okay, we need to be careful about the humans involved. The system will not fail. The system will not go out of control. The humans can make the system go out of control. So it's again all our ethical thought process which will make things run. Whenever you look at computer networks, there are some protocols, there are some rules and guidelines. So as long as we follow the rules, there is no attacks, there is no errors, there is no problems. But when people look at the loopholes in the rules and misuse those mechanisms, that is where the cyber attacks can come into picture. So when you look at a data management system or an AI system, the system in itself is very good, it does its job. But when humans get involved in it and see how it can be misused is where the problems will start.
So, as the academicians, we need to teach not only the technology, but also the ethical way of using the technology. That's only one way to influence. We cannot control everybody's mind, so that's obvious. But what we need to do is let us use it responsibly so that we'll all be alive to use it. Otherwise, one wrong use of AI and we may all not be there. So hence we have to be careful. We need not be selfish about I will achieve something for myself. If that is the case, then AI, some people will misuse AI. If you see any of those movies which have used AI, there are a few people who have tremendous knowledge of AI who are misusing AI, and hence there is a need for some group or intelligent people to come together to stop that AI again. So AI is fighting with AI. So hence, if we are ethical about it, if we are true to ourselves, I think that is where our responsibility as teachers are also there, that we need to ensure that we do, and maybe the industries also, as we look at, if they are looking at doing the right business within the legal frameworks, then there is no problem. But if we want to fool, AI will help us to fool so many people. So the question about ethical AI is very important, responsible AI is very important, and that's where we need to put that so that we have the strength of AI with us. That's what I believe.
Right, sir. So you mentioned a couple of times that the rightful use of the AI remains with the people's honesty, integrity, and the right way of using. Is this the only resort we have as of now? And if not, then how can the students and young researchers contribute to the meaningful use of AI?
See, the other way, if somebody misuses, there is only one way to stop the misuse is by regulation. Right? If there is a virus which is attacking, there needs to be an antivirus. So this AI governance comes as an antivirus to arrest the virus, because the virus cannot stop itself. Okay, some antivirus must be there which will be counter to that, and it will not have a virus of itself. Many times we see in HIV, not HIV, the COVID viruses that we talked about, the virus itself was there in the vaccine. So they said if you take the third vaccine, then you will have more chance of being attacked by COVID, right? So that's the kind. Sometimes they design in such a way that the enzyme will fight with the enzyme itself and destroy it. But AI will not be like that. So that's where we need to be careful. So this governance is now an important aspect. If you want to be responsible, if you don't want to be responsible, the governance will hold you that you are legally incorrect. So you may be arrested, or the law catches up with you, because AI is very fast. You can't run away. Earlier, you can loot the bank and not leave a trace, but you cannot do anything with AI which will not leave a trace. And it is easy to use AI to do forensics and all that, and security. Very easy it becomes with AI, and hence the law will catch up with us. So hence the question that comes back to us is the governance will help us so that the law is not broken.
Thank you. So also I would like in the same context, I would like to ask all the panelists, is there any way with which the academia, the policymakers and the industry can work together to build practical AI governance models for India? Is there any way, a platform already there where all the three entities would work together? Is it even possible to do so?
I think it's a very wider question, because the thing is that AI is becoming like when you're using ChatGPT, it might not be as harmful as maybe watching video on YouTube that was generated by AI. So like you might have seen recently that they've actually added a rule in YouTube that you have to put AI on top in the corner if it's an AI generated video. So that's an example of a regulation. So these things, like since we are exposed to on a daily basis global technologies, there has to be Indian government would have to push these companies that if you're operating in India, if Indian citizens are exposed to this tech, they will have to regulate it to some extent. So that's a portion of that will come from there. At the same time, when it comes to like the AI that we create, or the what we create using AI, how do we regulate that? Then it's going to be it's a matter of we have to study individually the impact of what are the different things we can create, and depending on the impact, decide the level of regulation we want to have. I think that a lot of times right now, in the given context of what we are creating in India, there might be a team of people or or even students who might be looking into using AI for hacking, right? So uh, I think the thing is like it's a good thing and it's also a bad thing. Why is it a good thing? Because you try to break a system and eventually learn that how that system can save itself. So obviously, like what we were talking about, unless you are yourself ethical, unless you're yourself honest, you can't get a honest outcome out of using AI as well. And we as Indians are in general honest. In Indians are in general, it's in our blood. So that's something that we can be proud of. At the same time, like the last thing I want to add is scale, right? So the thing is like, let's say that you want to do an attack on a server. Back in the day, you would need lots of different computers, lots of different people, programmers, and it would be much more longer process to do an attack. Now with AI, you can spin a bunch of AI can automatically replicate itself. It can automatically create software that can do that for you. So the thing is like the ability for anybody to do anything has increased. So you don't need to be like a professional trained for 30, 40 years in a specific subject to do something in that area. So that's a positive sign. And another positive sign is the scale that you can achieve. You can very easily multiply, with AI. And those two are the super strength that you can use for positive use of AI.
Yeah, as you see, people coming together, the DPDP, as I was mentioning, the Digital Personal Data Protection Act, right? Many of us must not have worried about what that act is. Or going back few years earlier of the IT Act of the Indian government, we must not have really worried because we are little not, somebody is doing something, let them do, it is their job, right? But as computer science students, maybe most of you may be computer science background, so it is your related aspect or some cyber laws are coming or something. So that is where you must be aware. That's where the student's role will come in. Teacher's role is making you aware and also giving you that kind of knowledge where you can try to play with these things and see how it goes. So that's the second challenge. And then the government and industry, where industry can help trying to show the showcases of where these are being used and how they can be misused, giving some case study. And of course, government coming with a regulation. That's what we can look at. So the regulation has come only in November 2025, just 3 months old, 4 months old, right? So it will take a long time. So all of the stakeholders who are there, we are all responsible for that. Okay, that maybe the teachers or maybe the government or maybe the students, maybe the policymakers, maybe the industry, all of us are responsible to ensure that this spreads across and all of us are more aware of this. So I will request you, please visit the India AI Mission website. Just go through, okay, these guidelines that have been given, AI guidelines, right, governance guidelines, and see what all are there and how I can follow them to be an ethical and responsible user of AI.
Thank you, sir. My next question is going to be a sort of rapid fire. So I would like to know from each of you in one sentence, what is the single most important principle of responsible AI governance, in your opinion?
First is knowing the rule and following the rule, I would say. We are not aware of the rule, hence we don't know what we are doing. So first we should know the rules, then we should follow the rules. It is not, knowing rules is not sufficient. Knowing rules is very powerful because once you know the rule, you know how to break the rule. So the best idea is you should know the rule and you should be sincere to follow the rule. That's the governance. Governance will only work at that time. Thank you.
What would be your take, sir?
I think that most of the points have already been covered, but I think the last thing I can add is you have to think in the positive side. I think that's the most important thing. We have to think positive as a nation about AI and positive use of AI. And like we cannot be thinking about from personal gain point of view. Because what is happening is like you have a lot of content being generated online, which is geared for monetization. Yeah, it's not really geared for growth. So growth and positivity is, I think, is the way to enable making sure that the AI is going to be used in the right way.
Looking at the positive side of AI. Dr. Varma, what do you think is the one principle?
So the principle is that always ethical with their development, governance, and industry influences. If you are ethical with your work, definitely AI going into the right direction. There is no harm. There is no discussion about this is the good master, bad enemy, bad enemy, good master. All these things are not required. If you are ethical in all the aspects like development, implementation, or governance.
So it's going to be the right use. Also, I would like to request Dr. Kalla to, from the student's perspective, one principle that you think can put governance in place.
So my request to all the students is that you should have to know the fundamental strong. If you know the fundamental, because whenever we talk about the AI and machine learning, it is really basically start from the logic-based building. Whenever we have to create the logic, whenever we have to create the sum of the rules, and then we have to generate the expert system. Whatever the Dr. Pili and Dr. Sunil and Neeraj already they have told about, the thing is that in the morning panel discussion also that the point is discussion, whenever the fundamental is not clear, and hypothetically we talk about the artificial intelligence, it is a very difficult challenge because everyone should know about some of the algorithm like that, Naive-based classifier, NLP and what is the engram model. But the concern is that they should know about the fundamental. Fundamental is clear because the core paper is same. Only the thing is that you have to some implementation about the concept of the artificial intelligence and machine learning. So basic thing is that you should have to fundamentally strong about the C, discrete mathematics, theory of computation, compilers. Then we have to develop our mathematical model. And another my submission to all the students is that in the both discussion of the industry and academia here, the point is that you should know how to build the career because a lot of job is there. There is no chance to job, but the thing is that those who have a good logical building capability, those who are good skills, they have secure a good job. But there is no need of piece of paper of degree. If the degree is piece of paper, there is no required the job. It's suppose they can say like that I can secure a 90%. But the concern is that you should have to skill-based learning. That is my submission to all the students. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. So, the key takeaways that we have is following the rules, look at the positive side, ethical use, and knowing the fundamentals. So, we have almost arrived at the end of this discussion. But before we leave this place, I would like to request only one or two questions from the audience. One or two questions, please. Can the mic be sent to the student? Dr. Rana would also have a question to ask.
Where I asked a question. First, over here.
Namaskar, sir. So this is Dr. Tanmay from the Faculty of Law. Actually, sir, since the theme of the particular panel talk has been regulations and governance of AI, I just have a simple question to you. That actually, what are your thoughts on the legal personality of AI first of all? And secondly, what could be the various liability models of artificial intelligence that you think would be able to help us in a better governance of AI? So the liability models and the personality theories, basically, if you can, maybe share some of them.
You are asking about the legal models.
Exactly. So basically, once we talk about the governance of AI in all over the country, if we have to implement something, we need to have a legal backing of it. So for that helps us to have a legal personality theory, just like a company is held liable and a company can also be sued and can also sue others. Similarly, what do you think is the legal liability or personality of AI at the moment? And can we held them liable for any wrong principle, or if anything happens, would the creators be liable? Is my specific question.
As of now, as I just mentioned, the governance guidelines are only issued. So it is still at the governance level, right? When there's a thought process, so they are still going to make it an act. So once it is act, there are going to be some, as you are aware of the legal this thing, there will be some clauses, and whoever crosses those limits will be liable for punishment, and then he will come into the legal ambit. As of now, when it's a guideline, it is a directive. It is please follow these to avoid, right? As of now, it is at that level. Like a DPDP has become an act in 2023. These guidelines will become an act or a regulation, which will have some yes and no. And if you don't do it, you will have these problems, or these will be the implications. So it is still in that process, I would say.
Agreed, sir. But at the global stage, we already have European Union, which has the law. So actually, what are your views on it? I am aware of the law. I'm asking your views on what should be done to make them accountable. Thank you.
Yeah, they see, as of now, in the other countries, definitely the accountability is there because the law is there. As of now, in Indian context, we are developing them, and hence we are. But the other countries can take action as if we are misusing their data, definitely, because as far as their governance is concerned. So, like you see, there may be two different laws for two different countries, and then when there is a difference, okay, the local law prevails, right? In a similar sense, as of now, the government laws or guidelines will prevail as far as evaluating or measuring. But when you use or misuse data from other country, then obviously you are bound. If you download them from their geographical unit, then you are bound by their regulations. So hence, we have to be careful and responsible in that sense. That's what I would say. My take. Thank you, sir.
Just quickly, I want to add an example to explain this. Let's say that you buy a scissor from the market. It's a scissor, that's a tool. Like AI right now is a tool. And अगर आपने उस सीजर से किसी का उंगली काट दिया तो किसकी गलती है? सीजर बनाने वाले की कि सीजर काटने से उंगली काटने वाले की? यहाँ पे unethical practice was done by the operator or the user. At the same time, मान लीजिए कि उस सीजर में एक डिफेक्ट है, जिसकी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में उस मैन्युफैक्चरर ने पैसे बचाने के लिए कुछ गलत मटेरियल यूज किया, जिसकी वजह से मे बी वो आपके हाथ में आने के बाद आप कट के आपकी उंगली कट गई उसको यूज करते हुए, तो यहाँ पे किसकी गलती होगी? मैन्युफैक्चरर की गलती होगी. It's the same thing. Like when in any kind of framework that you come up with, any kind of guidance material, any kind of regulation or act you can come up with, the main thing is अगर आपने गलती किसने करी है, unethical चीज यहाँ पर कहाँ से शुरू हुई है, right? That's the key.
Thank you, sir. So, looking at the positive of time, we will have to end this discussion here.
Permission, sir, since sir had mentioned a particular element.
So we will find the time after the formal close of this discussion.
So actually, just as you mentioned about the scissors example, that's the whole point. It's not black and white because AI once being trained, as you know, technicians we have, it can develop its own mind and then ultimately commit that crime. So for that thing, which the human has not programmed the AI, what exactly should be the liability model as per your understanding?
Yeah, I think that you're talking about like sort of like in the route of super intelligence and general intelligence. I think that if when that happens, I mean, right now the way the industry is working is because everybody needs capital. All these companies need capital to host the AI, right? So because right now, even if you get the best AI in the world, like you can't run it on your computer. So all these companies have a kill switch that it's running on a host of diversified servers, right? Eventually, AI will be so smart that it will be able to run on everyone's cell phone and form its own network, right? So it will not need these companies, right? And also even get to the point where it can go and take the money out of your account and you won't even know, right? It will transfer it to some other account and use it to buy, maybe assets of its own. It will be its own entity, right? So the thing is like, unless and until that is more discovered, we will not be able to take an action on it right now.
Thank you. Further questions could be taken after the formal close. We now arrive at the end of this discussion. Thank you, respected panelists, for your invaluable insights, thought leadership, and impactful perspectives. The contributions have truly elevated today's discussion on AI governance and responsible innovation. Now, as a token of our gratitude and appreciation, we would like to felicitate our esteemed panelists with mementos. I request Professor Rana to kindly present the memento to Dr. Pillai Emmanuel Shubhakar. Thank you, sir. May I now request Dr. Subhash Sharma to kindly present memento to Mr. Sunil Agarwal. Dr. Neeraj and Dr. Lokesh Birla, we are really very thankful for your contribution and joining this panelist. Well, we come to the end of this discussion, and we would now request everybody to please assemble for a group photograph. We request the faculty members to please near the dais to have a group photograph.
कहाँ पकड़ू पूरा भी बच्चों को दिखाना है भैया बच्चों को दिखाना है
I request the esteemed panelists to be in the VIP boardroom for the high tea. I request all the students to remain seated. Please let the guests leave the seminar hall first. Students, please remain seated. Your attendance is going to be captured. All the students are supposed to scan the QR code on the screen to mark their presence. This will be displayed only for a few seconds, so quickly capture this QR code to mark your attendance. You have only 2 minutes. Try to mark only your attendance. You needn't take a picture of it, just capture your attendance. It will be only displayed for a few seconds. Quickly scan it and mark your attendance.
अरे अभी काय को बेटा वो चाय पिलाने के लिए नहीं सर आपने बता दिया ना 2 मिनट काम करना मुझे बादाम खाना है मुझे बादाम खाना है बादाम राम क्या रुको
गाइस सब अपना अपना पहले कर देना, ठीक है? फोटो बाद में खींच लेना क्योंकि 2 मिनट में लिंक क्लोज हो जाएगी। फिर जो रह गया वो रह जाएगा, फिर आप मत कहना कि हम भी आए तो नहीं आए। हो गया सबका? हाँ कितनों का लिंक हुआ? उधर हो गया 30 सेकंड के अंदर लिंक क्लोज होने वाली है। और जो फोटो खींच रहा है उसमें बता देता हूँ लिंक क्लोज होने वाली है, तो क्यूआर काम नहीं करेगा बाद में, ठीक है ना? अच्छा कौन है जिसको टेक्निकल इशू आ रहा है यहाँ पे? एक बस 2 3 4 जिनको भी टेक्निकल इशू है वो आगे आ जाओ 2 मिनट के लिए बस फटाफट। लिंक क्लोज कर दे।
ये जा कहां रे गाइस प्लीज देवांश देवांश बताओ
हेलो सभी बच्चे शांति से बैठ जाए। वैलिडिक्टरी फंक्शन के बाद आपको जाना है 5 मिनट 10 मिनट में टी के बाद होने वाला है। चाय पीने गए हैं जस्ट देसी अंदाज में समझ लो, वैलिडिक्टरी फंक्शन होगा उसके बाद जाएंगे, वहां पे आपको ताली बजाना है, ठीक है? देवांश उधर वाले बच्चों को इधर ले आओ एक साथ सबको। उधर वाले बच्चों को एक साथ ले आओ, इधर को नहीं आना चाहिए।
अरे सर सुन ना भाई
यहाँ के चारों सेटअप है, वहाँ क्यों कर रहे हैं? रुक जाओ यार, क्यों रुक जाओ? यहाँ का सेटअप है, वहाँ क्यों ले जा रहे हैं? क्यों? ये वहाँ शिफ्ट नहीं कर रहे हैं। सारे बच्चे यहाँ हाँ बाहर गेट बंद कर दे अभी बंद कर नहीं भाई प्लीज बैठिए आप कब तक हो जाएगा आप प्लीज 10 मिनट के लिए बैठिए उनको बोलो यार कॉलेज का इवेंट है तुम ले आ रहा भगवान जी बोलो नहीं वो सारे बच्चे वहाँ रेडी है ना हम मना भी देते मत तो
क्या चीज तो डिसाइड करने का लिस्ट संगीता मेरी गाड़ी है ना सुदीप यस मैम बाउल्स तो खाली हाँ चारों बहुत सही बड़े टेबल पर रखे हैं
कुलदीप प्रियम का नंबर है प्रियम को फोन करो बोलो और बोलो
प्रियम भैया वापस आ जाओ राणा सर का फोन मिल गया बस हाँ सुरभि मैम ने बोला कि उनको आओ आगे आओ I will. Yeah, thanks.
In there, in that. Okay, exactly.
Kushagra, light का कोई effect है? Light का कोई effect है? गर्म चाय भी करना चाहिए। Back, अर्षित भैया, अर्षित भैया, बंद कर दो लेकिन आगे की रहने दो। इसे आगे बंद कर दो, आगे की रहने दो। हाँ? सारी रहने दो। हमें ट्रे भी इधर है दोनों। देखिए ना जो चल रहा है Volunteers, 8 seats. Volunteers. मैंने आपको बताया
एक काम करो, विकास को फोन करो, उनको बुला के बैठो।
मैम ये सेट करेगा हाँ
A very good afternoon to all present here. As we arrive at the concluding session of the Pre-AI Impact Summit 2026, we request all our distinguished guests, speakers, panelists, and participants to kindly take their seats as we begin the closing ceremony. Throughout the day, the summit has witnessed insightful deliberations on AI for public good, AI governance, and responsible innovation, along with an engaging mini hackathon showcasing creativity and application-driven thinking. We are privileged to joined by Mr. Abhinav Kumar, CEO, Digital Openers, Jaipur, Mr. Shailendra Sharma, Senior Programmer Analyst, DotSquares India, Jaipur, Mr. Satyam Mishra, AI Data Science Expert from AU Ignite Future Skills, where judges are eminent judges for the mini hackathon. And we are also privileged to have among us Mr. Prahlad Mathur as our guest of honor from AI Ignite Future Skills. May I now invite Dr. Satyavi Singh to kindly present a memento to Mr. Abhinav Kumar as a token of our deep respect and gratitude. May I now invite Ms. Karuna Kurana, Assistant Professor IcfaiTech, to kindly present a memento to Mr. Shailendra Sharma as a token of respect and gratitude. Thank you, ma'am. May I now invite Dr. Ajay Singh to kindly present a memento to Mr. Satyam Mishra as our token of respect. Thank you, sir. May I now invite Mr. Ronak Sharma to kindly present a memento to our guest of honor, Mr. Prahlad Mathur. Thank you so much, sir. We now move to one of the most significant segments of today's program, the outcome discussion, where key takeaways and consensus points from the summit will be shared. Now I have the privilege to invite Dr. Mukesh Kalla, Head CAC at IcfaiTech and the convener of today's summit, to kindly present the consensus notes and outcomes emerging from today's discussions.
Hello. Good evening, one and all present here. The pre-AI summit event commenced with the inaugural session setting on the tone of a day of critical engagement with artificial intelligence from the policy, practice, and social perspective. The presidential address delivered by the Professor H.P. Singh VSM, Honorable President in the ICFAI University Jaipur, highlighted the relevance of the summit theme. AI for all, powering India, inclusive and responsible AI futures. Emphasizing the need to align technological advancement with inclusive ethics and public good. It understood the role of higher education institution in nurturing responsible innovation and preparing future-ready professionals capable of engaging with emerging technology in meaningful way. The keynote address delivered by the Mr. Yogesh Agrawal, Global Head, Learning and Development at Wipro, Jaipur, focused on evolving role of AI in organizational ecosystem, learning and development, and competency buildings. The address emphasized the importance of continuous upskilling, interdisciplinary collaboration, and ethical awareness in leveraging AI for sustainable growth. The inaugural session concluded with memento felicitation, a vote of thanks, and national anthem, marking a night and inspiring opening to the summit. Afterwards, we have to discuss about the panel discussion 1 and panel discussion 2, parallelly conducted the mini hackathons. So panel discussion 1, the theme was AI for public good, healthcare, education, citizen service, and human dimensions. The first panel discussion explored the transformative potential of AI in advancing public good, with particularly focus on the healthcare, education, citizen service, and human-centric dimension of technology. The discussions highlighted how AI-driven solution can emphasize accessibility, efficiency, and equity in public service delivery while addressing long-standing social and developmental changes. Panelists deliberates on the application of AI in improving healthcare diagnostics, personalized learning systems, and responsive governance mechanisms. A recurring emphasis was placed on the need of context-sensitive AI solutions that account for the India's cultural and social-economical diversity. The panel also reflected on ethical considerations such as data privacy, algorithm bias, and inclusivity, stressing that technological innovation must remain in human values. The discussion concluded with the consensus that AI for public good requires strong collaboration between the academia, industry, and policymakers, along with robust frameworks that prioritize the transparency, accountability, and citizen trust. The panel discussion 2, the theme is AI governance, regulation versus co-creation models. The second panel discussion addressed the critical issues of AI governance, focusing on the tension and synergy between the regulatory frameworks and co-creation models. Panelists examined the need for balanced governance structure and safeguards public interest while simultaneously enable innovation and experimentation. Key discussion revolved around evolving regulatory approach and the role of multi-stakeholder engagement in shaping AI policies. The panel highlights that overlay rigid regulation may stifle innovation, while the absence of oversight could lead to ethical and social risks. Co-creation model involving governments, industry, academia, and civil society were identified as essential for developing adaptive, inclusive, and forward-looking governance mechanisms. The panel reached a shared understanding that responsible AI governance must be iterative, consultative, and aligned with democratic values, ensuring that AI systems remain transparent, accountable, and responsive to social needs. A parallel session, that is a mini hackathon, AI in action, innovation, and impact. Alongside the panel discussions, a parallel mini hackathon titled AI in Action, Innovation and Impact was organized, providing a hands-on collaborative platform for participants to engage directly with applied AI problem solving. The hackathon encouraged rapid ideathon, experimentation, and interdisciplinary collaboration, reinforcing the summit's focus on innovation with social relevance. In total, 41 teams registered for the hackathon from the reputed institutions like JCRC, JNU, SKIT, VGU, LMNIT, Purnima, and few more. Out of them, 38 should be actively, they have to present the PPT presentation and problem definitions. The activities were structured around the following themes. First is the quick AI build challenges, enabling participants to develop rapid solution-oriented AI concept within a limited time frame. Second is the AI demos, people, planet, and progress. So costing AI applications addressing social well-being, environmental sustainability, and inclusive development. Third is the creative AI activities, increasing and interdisciplinary approaches to AI beyond the conventional technical boundaries. And fourth is the interactive group activities designed to promote teamwork, peer learning, and collaborative innovation. The mini hackathon generated values across the multiple stakeholder groups. Students, they have benefited from the exposure of real-world problem solving, expert mentorships, and hands-on skill development. Startups gained visibility, opportunity for the collaboration, and potential pathway towards the incubation and partnerships. Policymakers received actionable insight and innovative prototypes that can inform evidence-based decision making. Academia strengthened its role in research leadership, interdisciplinary engagement, and industry collaboration. Society at large stands to benefit from AI-driven solution and which is targeting sustainability in which healthcare and government challenges. The mini hackathon reinforced the summit's commitment to translating dialogues into action and demonstrated how particularly innovations can be contribute meaningfully to the inclusive and responsible AI ecosystem. The pre-AI summit event stood out for the distinctive value propositions combining vision, participation, and outcome in the coherent and the impactful manner. High-level policy discussions were closely linked with real-world innovation, prototypes, and applied AI use cases, ensuring that deliberations translating into the actionable insights. So I would congratulate the mini hackathon team. The first team, they have to secure first position from the SKIT college, and the second position got by the Anand College, Jaipur. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for summarizing the collective wisdom and vision that emerged from the summit. And it even becomes truly meaningful when it leaves a lasting impression on its participants. So now we would like to invite some participants' feedback as a few representatives, if they can share their experiences, learning, and reflections from the Pre-AI Summit 2026 organized here today. If we can have one or two, just a couple of feedback from participants, preferably from participants who are here from other institutions. Can we have the microphones, please? Yes, we can see a raise of hand. Please, the microphone, please take it.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, judges. Good evening to esteemed faculties and all my mates. This pre-summit event is really very good. The whole environment is really very nurturing and collaborative. I really enjoyed a lot when I give the presentation. It's it's an amazing moment for me. Really expecting much more things from ICFAI in the future also.
Thank you. We have one more, please. Anybody else would like to share their experience or anything that they are taking away from this summit today? Okay. Do we see a hand, raise of hand? Okay. So thank you so much. Your name is? Raj. Thank you so much for sharing your feedback, and valuable feedbacks like this, they encourage us to create platforms for dialogue and innovation. So one of the most vibrant and engaging highlights of today's summit was the mini hackathon, AI in Action, Innovation and Impact. The hackathon witnessed, as Dr. Kalla mentioned, enthusiastic participation, innovative problem solving, and creative AI-driven solutions aligned with the themes of people, planet, and progress. So after careful evaluation by the judges, based on innovation, relevance, feasibility, impact, we are delighted to announce the winners. I request the dignitaries on dais and also dignitaries joining us, our guests of honor. So please felicitate the winners. So the first runner-up award goes to Team Infinity. Team Infinity. I would like to request members of Team Infinity, Udayaraj Sharma and Deep Chaturvedi from Anand International College of Engineering, Jaipur. Congratulations, Team Infinity, for your commendable effort and creative application of AI. Now, the winner of the mini hackathon is Team Innovation. The team members, Devilal Sudhar and Devesh Shukla from Swami Keshwanand Institute of Technology, Purnima University, Purnima University, Jaipur. Congratulations, Team Innovation. Please put your hands together for Team Innovation, the winner of the hackathon. Thank you so much, judges. Please. On behalf of ICFAI Tech, ICFAI University Jaipur, I extend my sincere gratitude to our Honorable President, sir, for his visionary leadership and his continued encouragement. I also express our heartfelt thanks to Mr. S.S. Jain for his continued guidance and support. We are equally grateful to Dr. R. Nesamurthy, Registrar, and Dr. N.D. Jasuja, the Joint Registrar, for their administrative support and cooperation in making this event possible. I would further like to acknowledge in absentia the valuable support of our directors, deans, heads of departments, principal of all schools at ICFAI University, Jaipur. We extend our sincere thanks to all eminent speakers, distinguished guests, experts, and dignitaries for generously sharing their valuable time, insights, and wisdom, which greatly enriched today's deliberations. We also warmly thank the participants from other institutions who joined us for the mini hackathon and panel discussions, adding diverse perspectives, enthusiasm, and collaborative spirit to the event. My sincere appreciation also goes to Professor A.K. Seni, Director IcfaiTech, Dr. Rana Mukherjee, Dean IcfaiTech, Dr. Mukesh Kalla, Head CSE, and the convener of this summit today for their encouragement and continued guidance. Finally, I thank all faculty members, the organizing committee, and our dedicated student volunteers whose collective efforts ensured smooth and successful conduct of this event. May I now request everyone to join us for a group photograph. Sir, if you can move over there and students, please stand up for the group photograph, please. Please gather in the center. Gather towards the center of the auditorium. Gather towards the center of the auditorium, please, for the photograph, group photograph. With this, we formally conclude the Pre-AI Summit 2026 at the ICFAI University, Jaipur. Thank you for your presence and your participation. To a pleasant evening ahead. Thank you.